industrial ecology is the field in which we systematically study the relationship between industrial activity, like product design, process design, material selection, energy use, transportation, and what are the impacts on the environment. So we learn how to evaluate and then how to redesign to minimize that. Now, as far as industrial ecology goes, there is no one single definition that's universally used. However, while we have many definitions of industrial ecology, they all seem to share some common attributes. So what are some of these common attributes? Some of these are that they take a systems view, which is like a black box with input and output. So it takes a systems view of the interactions between industrial systems and the neighboring ecological systems. It also commonly studies the flow of material and energy through systems. You have material and energy needed for any industrial activity, and then there is some material and energy leaving it. You know, what goes in, what comes out, what is lost, that kind of. It's usually a multidisciplinary approach. It involves economists, it involves scientists, it involves engineers, it involves managers, it involves policy makers, social scientists, business people. So it's multidisciplinary. And it has an orientation towards the future. We may have done some not so smart things in the past, but let's not just beat ourselves up about that. Let's remind us of that, but move on to what it is we can do a little more enlightened in the future. It's also a move from linear systems, meaning in a linear system there's a lot of input that goes out and a lot of waste that comes out. We are moving towards a cyclical system. In the natural system there is no waste. One creature's waste becomes the input for the next creature. So it's a cyclical system. There is literally no waste. So we are trying to evolve from a linear system, which means unlimited waste, to a cyclical or a quasi-cyclical system with little or no waste. Other things, an attempt to reduce industrial systems, environmental impact, emphasis on harmoniously integrating industrial systems with ecological systems, and this is the key thing, an idea that we want to make our industrial systems emulate Mother Nature. Nature is inherently cyclical in nature. You know, forest fires. There are forest fires that happen on their own, right? And a lot of trees burn. There's no reason to shed tears about that. That's nature's way of taking care of stuff. And some CO2 is released in that process. Well, that's been happening forever. No need to lose sleep about that. But if it's man-made, right? Somebody who goes to a forest and throws a cigarette butt or does something foolish and causes hundreds and thousands of acres to burn, well, we want to learn more from nature and try to mimic nature. That's one of the tenets of industrial ecology. So, last term, sustainability. So what is sustainability? Sustainability is a kind of fond hope that human beings and life in general will continue to flourish on Earth. I can't imagine any one person other than Mr. Bin Laden who may not share this sentiment, right? Everybody, in whichever part of the world you are, whichever religion you practice, whichever race you belong to, whichever political persuasion you have, I'm sure we can shake hands on the fact that we want human and other life to flourish on this planet forever. Sustainable development is a development that is economically feasible and socially desirable and ecologically viable. Very important terms, right? Ecologically viable means that it doesn't do damage to the environment. That's what it means, viable. Socially desirable. There are a lot of things we can do, but certain things may not be kosher in the current society. For example, we can recycle water that we use in our toilet. But I think where society is, it's maybe happy to use it for some secondary uses. I don't think as drinking water, right? Even if you're told chemically there's no problem, I think we have some issues with that. And so it has to be socially desirable. And the third thing is economically it should be feasible. It can be something that you're doing for the environment It's a good thing, but you may have a lot of opposition to it. Why? Because it doesn't make economic sense, right? So you have to take that also into account. So that's what sustainable development is. It's not just doing something that improves the environment, which is certainly a key part of it. It should be economically feasible. If a lot of people will lose their livelihood, well, that's not going to work. And also, if it is socially not desirable, that also won't work. So these are some basic terms. Hopefully this class has introduced you to the broad framework for this course, provided you with definitions of industrial ecology and sustainable development. In the next few class periods, we'll examine various aspects of this course. We'll see you next class. Thank you.